Sup, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Flea Flicker. I am your host, Timmy B, joined by my amazing co-host, JoeyD. For those of you wondering, we are recording this the day after Joe's birthday and the day before my birthday. So before we get started, happy birthday to us, Joe. We really
Happy
deserve
birthday
it.
to the Flea Flicker,
Uh,
baby.
when this comes out on the Thursday, it is actually my birthday, but obviously we're recording it a little bit beforehand. But JoeyD, man, how was your birthday and how are you doing today?
Tim, great birthday. What a weekend of football. I couldn't have asked for a better gift. Life is good. I cannot be complaining whatsoever, Tim. Got some good news from a good friend of mine recently, and I'm very excited for him. So, just a lot of good things happening right now outside of my playoff predictions, Tim. Those have been a little bit off, but that's okay. That's okay because I'll always have the regular season.
Yeah. What a crazy weekend! And you mentioned your playoff picks. So far, you are 5-5, and I'm 9-1. So you know what? You did get me in the regular season, but I'm kind of like Joe Flacco, baby. Just get me into January, and that's where I thrive.
Oh, I guess so. I guess I'm just like the Eagles, doing well in the regular season, overachieving a little bit, and just crashing down to earth in the postseason. Just like they did this season. So
Well,
here
hey,
we are.
this was one of the best weekends of football in at least the last couple of years for sure. So let's just hop right into it. Before we talk about these amazing games, make sure you hit that thumbs up button to like this video. Also hit that subscribe button down below to show your support for the channel. But Joe, not only was this one of the best weekends of football in the last handful of years, especially in the playoffs, but each game kind of got like exponentially better. And it was like, how is this next game going to top what just happened here? Oh, it did. How was the next game? And like it just kept rolling. Like
Right.
it started here and then it just went up each and every game. So wow.
Wild sequence of events in so many games that just changed everything. And I'm just shocked that so many underdogs pulled it off this week. I mean,
I
just
said it.
huge
Upset
upsets. You
Saturday.
did.
Upset
You did.
Saturday. And
Absolutely.
speaking of upset Saturday, let's just hop into that first game. Cincinnati Bengals win 19-16 at the Tennessee Titans. A last-second field goal. Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions, one on the very first play of the game, and one to essentially put the Bengals in a great position under a minute to go and right around the 50-yard line. So not too hard to get into field goal range from there. So Ryan Tannehill, last 2 seasons, his last pass has been an interception at home in the playoffs. And Joe, I said it, Titans aren't very good at home in the divisional round,
I
especially against
know.
AFC North teams.
Oh, I
But
really should not. I should have paid more attention to the historical precedents that we've already seen from the last couple of years with a couple of these teams and matchups. So that kind of got me this
a-
time.
absolutely. But overall, kind of an ugly game still, but still entertaining as both teams were turning the ball over, a couple of turnovers here and there. Derrick Henry returned, looked pretty good, scored the first touchdown of the game, but the Bengals defense contained him pretty well. Not a lot of carries from Donta Foreman or anybody who's replaced him the past couple of weeks, which was a little bit interesting. Bengals go up 16-6. Titans do come back. They get a score, a turnover, and then another score to make it 16-16 for a great fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, Bengals defense got the necessary turnovers that they needed. Joe Burrow put their team in a position to get into field goal range, and Evan McPherson, rookie kicker, one of the best kickers I would say in the league right now, just generally
Yeah.
speaking, not in the last, couple of years, obviously this is his first year, but still a guy you can go out there and trust. And that was the theme of this weekend as well, was a lot of missed kicks. And we'll talk about in that in later games. But Joe, Bengals starting off upset Saturday with the win. That's what we needed. But what were your thoughts from this game overall? And since the Cincinnati Bengals are in the AFC Championship, Joe.
Tim, Joe Burrow is the absolute truth. I mean, how do you overcome 9
Yeah.
sacks and still get the win? That is one of the gutsiest performances I've ever seen out of a quarterback. Like, I mean, it's just unreal. I mean, it seemed like almost every third down, he was going down.
Yeah.
I mean, the protection was not there. The Titans were sending blitzes, sometimes just sending 4. Jeffrey Simmons was just collapsing the pocket on
Well,
almost every single play.
it's funny. I knew the offensive line was bad, and then we recorded
Yeah.
it. I picked the Bengals. The next day, I'm at the gym, and in the treadmill or whatever, it was like a preview for the game, and it was like Bengals have given up like the third most sacks this season. I was like, uh oh.
I know. And like, I just always, I kept expecting the Titans offense being able to do something when the defense would get a sack
Yeah.
and, you know, like just give them an opportunity. This Bengals defense came to play, Tim.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I was blown away. This is a full strength Titans offense. I mean, Julio, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, everyone's there. On paper, this does not make any sense, Tim. I mean,
Hmm.
I've been talking about Jesse Bates. I think he's a guy who's
Oh,
underappreciated and underrated and just
first
doesn't get
play
a
of the
lot of
game.
credit.
First play of the game.
First
He
play of the
jumps
game,
around and gets a pick.
absolute crazy interception, just a fantastic play. I mean, that interception by Mike Hilton, just
Oh,
a phenomenal play in return. Just so many great plays and a huge play at a huge moment with less than a minute remaining to get an interception and give Joe Burrow an opportunity. I mean, the stats don't necessarily
mhm.
look phenomenal for Joe. I mean, he didn't throw a touchdown, he had an interception, but he threw for over 300 yards, Tim,
Yeah.
despite getting sacked 9 times. That one interception, it was off of a receiver's hands. I mean, he did everything that he possibly could to get them the win. I mean, at the last moment, getting them into field goal range just to give McPherson
Mhm.
a chance. I mean, what Joe Burrow has done for that organization, just completely coming in and flipping the culture. I mean, he's going to be a problem in not only the AFC North, Tim, but the AFC for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's and we're not even at what should be the Bengals peak yet.
Yeah,
This is the
we
second
all
season.
expected that to maybe be next year where they're
Yeah,
this good. I mean, and it's crazy. And shout out to our friend Derek, aka Always More Videos, our Bengals fan. He was not too happy when they picked
he
Jamar
was not.
Chase.
He said that meant they needed to fire Zach Taylor. I think he said, "Mark
Yeah,
my words, you will get fired after the season."
but
So I don't think that's gonna happen, Derek.
he has since eaten his words. He's very happy for Jamar Chase, but still needs some work on the offensive line, giving up 9 sacks. But hey, now that you got the quarterback, the receivers, Joe Mixon at running back, really the only place you can improve on offense is the offensive line. So kudos to them. Always nice to see the Titans lose as well. And now the Titans have some questions, and we'll talk about this in offseason mode. I mean, is Tannehill the guy? Like these questions are going to come up.
And
You know,
I think we've all kind of known that he's been overachieving a little bit, and
yeah.
ultimately, if it's not this clear cut, but if you separate quarterbacks into a quarterback that you can win with versus a quarterback that you can win because of,
Hmm.
I think he's a quarterback you can win with, and Joe Burrow is a quarterback that you win because of,
Right.
and I think that was the difference in this game ultimately because Tannehill wasn't able to put the team on his back and get them the points, the touchdowns, the 3 turnovers. I mean, you know, it was just the complete opposite
Hmm.
in terms of, this Titans team. They got a great offensive line, great running game.
Hmm.
They got good weapons. There's no reason. And on paper, again, this matchup for the Titans offense, it should favor them. So there's no reason why Tannehill shouldn't be able to score more than 16 points in this game. While on the flip side with Joe Burrow, he has every excuse. I
Hmm.
mean, he got sacked 9 times. This offensive line is terrible. This is a young team. They've never been here before. Nobody expect them to. Nobody's picking them. The defense doesn't have a lot of big names, but they still managed to get the win. So I think that it just kind of shows shines more of a spotlight on that more than ever. That if you don't have a quarterback like a Joe Burrow, just a true franchise guy that you're going to win because of, it's hard to really. How far can you go? What
Right.
is the ceiling with that type of team? And I think right now, I mean, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo get in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Spoiler, he's in the NFC Championship
It
again,
might be in another
and
one.
he might be in another one. So, I think that there are, exceptions to the rule, but I mean, we're talking about the guys that are in the championships right now. He's the only one that I would say is, that's 1 out of 4, compared to all the other guys
Yeah.
being franchise quarterbacks. So just crazy, crazy sequence of events, Tim. I'm shocked, but I love it. Joe
Yeah,
Burrow, the truth. I'm
and
definitely rooting for him.
we'll talk about this in off-season mode, of course. Right now, as a Ravens fan, very happy for the Bengals, but I would like for them to lose on Sunday, of course. But very happy for them. And you know what? I'll take battling it out with the Bengals and Joe Burrow over whoever the Steelers quarterback is, or God knows what's happening in Cleveland as a Ravens fan. Because, the Bengals, not much of a rivalry between us, but Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. And if Baker Mayfield ever figures it out, the three of them. So it'll be definitely a lot of
Hey,
fun.
don't sleep on Mason Rudolph now.
Yeah. Well, we'll be sleeping on him a lot. But to continue upset Saturday, and you mentioned it, Joe, and a whole theme of the playoffs in these two games specifically is, these were kind of ugly wins, but hey, all you gotta do is win by 1 point. Doesn't matter how you do it. Just win by one point. And that's what the Bengals, well, they won by 3, but that's what the Bengals have been doing. And that's what the 49ers have been doing, going into Lambeau Field, not scoring an offensive touchdown, giving up an offensive touchdown on the first drive where everybody thought was like, all right, here it is, Packers 35 to 10. This is gonna happen. The
Yeah.
defense adjusted, offense did just enough. 49ers win 13 to 10 on a last second field goal by Robbie Gould to put you at 0-2, but me at 2-0 because upset Saturday, not to brag. I picked both of them.
Yep. Yep.
But Joe, and I said, cold game in January, you run the ball and you play defense. And the 49ers did exactly just that. They ran the ball and they played defense. Our guy, Deebo Samuel, huge run late in the game to set up that game-winning field goal. But the story of this game was obviously not only the Packers offense just disappearing after the first drive. I mean, credit to the 49ers defense, of course, very good defense, D'Amico Ryans, but it's the Packers special teams. I mean, blocked field goal at the end of the half, which was pretty cool seeing it in slow-mo. Like the guy next to him just like chops the dude's arm, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
The blocked punt for a touchdown. And then, on the game-winning field goal, there's only 10 guys. And that kind of blows my mind, Joe. Obviously, you played football. You're more of a football guy to me. But to me, you're on the field goal team and there's only 11. It's not like offense where you can have guys running in and out subbing. If you're on the field goal team, you're on the field goal team. So it's like, why are you not out there? It's not like, well, we're choosing between one of these 15 guys. It's like, no, we're on the field goal team. There should be only 11 guys. So like, go out there. It's a field goal, like do your thing. So that just kind of blows my mind a little bit, but hey, at the end of the day, 49ers get the win. Aaron Rodgers, probably his last game in Lambeau Field. It was a little bit cold, but hey, you know what? 49ers brought the win. Joe, kind of your thoughts on this game? I mean, I think it was better than the Bengals and Titans. As I said, each game got a little bit better, but kind of for like a different reason where it just felt so tense. And it was like, whoever can get like that one touchdown or that one interception or that one blocked punt is going to end up victorious. And that was the case. But what were your thoughts from this game?
Yeah. I mean, that 49ers defense, Tim, I mean, they
Mm.
played out of their minds. Like you said, they allowed that first opening touchdown and then only a field goal the rest of the entire game against Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Like, you know, this is another one. It doesn't make
Mhm.
sense on paper. There is no one in that secondary that should be able
Mhm.
to stop Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. But Rodgers picked a bad day to have a
Yeah.
bad game.
Yeah.
I mean, there were multiple drives in the fourth quarter, I think, when he went 3 and out, where
Mhm.
he had receivers open that he just didn't see or didn't throw to. And I mean, just so many miscues for the Packers, self-inflicted wounds. I
Mhm.
mean, the fumble by Mercedes Lewis early, like you said, the blocked field goal, the blocked punt, penalties, just you know a lot of mental miscues. And, the 49ers gave them every chance. I mean, Jimmy
Yeah.
G had a bad interception.
Dude, the
He was
entire
not,
second
he
half,
was
he just kept
wide
lobbing it up.
open.
I was like, what are we
What are
doing
you doing?
here?
Like, and they, the 49ers won despite Jimmy G in this game, Tim. And,
Yeah.
credit to the Packers defense, I guess, but still, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not a fantastic offense. So, I feel like the Packers defense more than did their job. And, you would absolutely expect your MVP quarterback and, star wide receiver who, let's remember, are posting that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen photo talking about
Mhm.
this is the last dance for them. And then they just go out like this. Oh, man. It is. is not a good look. And, again, in my mind, I don't think Aaron Rodgers deserves
Yeah.
MVP over a Joe Burrow, a Tom Brady, and this is just another example. I mean, you know, looking back in there, look at his playoff record.
Right.
He's got a horrible playoff record. He's now 0-4 against the 49ers in the
And
playoffs.
just
Like,
all-time freezing cold
it's
take when
ridiculous.
the Packers drafted him, and he was like, I'm not as disappointed as the 49ers will be for not drafting me, or whatever the quote was. And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
well, you're 0-4 in them against the playoffs.
yeah,
I
they're
think
probably
this,
pretty happy the way
yeah,
that worked out.
I think that this was the first one at home, but still, I mean, you got to win. And again, credit to the 49ers defense. And they kind of played, the Tom Brady approach. They got pressure and they got to the quarterback only rushing 4 or 5 guys. So yes, that secondary was depleted, but they were able to double cover Devontae Adams or Mercedes Lewis or whoever was in the game. And then also shout out to the guy who blocked the punt or scored the touchdown. Next drive or the drive after, they tried deep pass to Devontae Adams. That guy was playing safety. He saw it. He just ran there and deflected the pass. So I mean, shout out to him as well. And my goodness, Joe, that block punt was in the air for like 15 seconds. Like,
I
woo.
know everyone was looking for it, could not locate it, but just a great heads up play by him to locate it and take it into the end zone when your offense has not been able to. I mean, again, like not a single offensive touchdown in this game, and they still found a way to win. So credit to Kyle Shanahan, D'Amico Ryans, that entire organization, finding a way to outduel Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
despite a bad game by Jimmy Garoppolo and, really the offense as a whole.
And what amazing play calling, having like Trent Williams be like a tight end and then
Yeah,
roasted him down.
yeah. That was
That was
awesome.
absolutely amazing. Yes, 49ers move on to the NFC Championship. And now we're moving to the Sunday games, Joe. And which for about 30 minutes was game of the day, potentially game of the year, with the Los Angeles Rams going into Tampa Bay and winning 30-27. Dominated the first half, was up 20-3, would have been up 27-3 or at least 23-3, but they fumbled on the 1 or 2 yard line with like
Yeah.
with like 30 seconds left in the first half. So that ended the half. They go up 27-3, and then of course Tom Brady. The Buccaneers came back. I'll say that. Tom Brady wasn't really the mastermind, like we saw that in the Super Bowl. The Rams, like from mid third quarter to like mid fourth quarter, was like fumble, punt, like fumble, like a missed field goal, fumble. Like they did everything in their power
Yeah.
to give the Buccaneers this game. But hey, at the end of the day, they got the ball back. Matt Stafford, throws it to Cooper Kupp, gets out of bounds, then throws just an absolute dime to Cooper Kupp down to about the 15-yard line. They spiked the ball just in time and they kicked the game-winning field goal. But yeah, Joe, I mean, this should have been all Rams all day long, but a couple of key turnovers late in the game, missing a 47-yard field goal short, need I mind you, short
Yeah.
47 yards. And it was just wild. But I think on behalf of the Flea Flicker, let me just say, thank you, Rams, for winning this game. If I had to hear fucking Tom Brady came back from 27-3 again, oh my God, dude, I just thank God the Rams won. I'll just say
Uh,
that. Despite
I'm
us
I'm
both picking the
actually
Bucks.
pissed. I'm pissed because I don't think the Rams deserve to win that game at all. I mean, yes, they got out to a big lead, but talked about they did everything possible to lose this game to allow Tom Brady to come back and
Yeah.
tie it up. And like this, we've seen this story before. This game should have gone to
Yeah.
overtime, and Tom Brady probably wins the coin toss because
And,
that's just how it always goes. And then he would go down and win.
and it's funny.
I'm
I was
I'm
watching.
pissed because I felt
Yeah.
like it was anticlimactic.
I was watching with my friend, and they get the Rams get the ball back with 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So you run the ball twice, you get to the 2 minute warning, you run it a third time. If you don't get the first down, so you give Tom Brady about a minute after you punt and all that stuff, which there's still plenty of time for a person like Tom Brady. But we were just like, as long as they don't fumble, Tom Brady's still going to have to go 60, 70 yards down the field. Then the next play, Cam Akers, oh my God, Joe. Like there was a brief
Yeah,
moment where I was like, this shit is fixed. Like, but then watching all the replays and stuff, I mean, Sue just made an amazing punch out right there, and all that stuff. But yeah, everything fell the Buccaneers' way. And then it was kind of anticlimactic, but again, we always thought like everybody's talking about like the comeback and the Rams collapse, but I still can't get over that Matt Stafford throwing. Like, and we'll talk about this in the next game.
Well,
What were the Bucks defense doing? The safety
yeah,
just runs
exactly.
up. Like,
Well, it's just like such a bad call
yeah,
because, Cooper Cup, this man won the Triple Crown. Like, he's been going off all game. They just went to him the play before, and he's in the slot, and you send a slot blitz. So now he gets a free release off the line
right.
and is one-on-one with the safety. Like, you put a safety in a terrible position there. And from what I heard after the game, I think Levante David said
Yeah,
that some of the defense got the blitz call, some of them didn't. So there's a miscommunication there. I mean, I don't understand why you're sending a blitz in that situation, especially when Matt Stafford this year statistically has been really, really good when blitzed and under pressure. Um, and again, you put a safety in a bad spot when Cooper Cup gets a free release off the line, coming down, full head of steam on a seam route. I mean, come on, like let's devote some coverage to this guy since he's obviously Matt Stafford's favorite
yeah,
target and who he's trying to get the ball to. That's who his first read is going to be. And when he sees free release, one-on-one with the safety, let me just drop it in the bucket, he executed it.
yeah,
Matt Stafford's a very good quarterback. He can do that. Cooper Cup's a very good wide. He can do that. Let's be a little smarter here. It just baffled me that was the call in that situation. And, again, I mean, because of that and because of the first half, yeah, the Bucks don't deserve to win, but Rams did everything they possibly could to lose this game. And I think that the Bucks deserve to win it because of being able to come back, and tie it up at
mhm,
27. And then, all you have to do is just not allow that. And
yeah,
you do.
yeah.
So
And I see where you're coming from, but again, they needed everything. I mean, if Matt Gay knew how to kick a 47-yard field goal, we're really not talking about
And
this
that's a
comeback.
Pro
Yeah,
Bowl kicker over my
right.
man Jake Elliott. Are you kidding me? Come on now,
Say
Jake
Justin
Money
Justin
Elliott.
Tucker would have made it, but
He would
but
have made it. He would have made it. Evan McPherson would have made it. Jake Elliott would have made it. He
yeah.
might not be in that tier yet, but he had that 1 year for him.
But and to kind of counterpoint you, it's like again, they needed everything to go wrong. They got those like three fumbles in the second half. They got three and outs. They got except for that penalty call, but that was first of all, I don't like Sean Hockley as a ref. I think he's the worst one, but they made that right call on that Weddle hit, which the ball hit the ground. I mean, could you imagine that ball just stayed up for another minute? Like, yeah, Bucks probably walk out
Yeah,
as the winners, but you know,
that
Joe,
was
for
interesting. I had not seen a situation like that
yeah,
really. So I thought it was going to be a first down because of it, but I don't know. I think that's something they're probably going to look at that rule in the
I
offseason.
mean, I definitely understand it because the ball is dead or on the ground, therefore it is a dead ball. I would be curious to see like what if they were like, yeah, that's a penalty on the Rams, like first down Bucks. Like, could the Rams have challenged being like the ball hit the ground? Kind of like with pass interference, you can
Well,
kind of
that's why I
show,
think you got to
yeah,
reword that rule
right,
because it
yeah,
kind of encourages headhunting on a fourth down play like that. So if you can't get penalized for the first down if you level
yeah.
a receiver like that and it's incomplete. So I don't know. I think that's a rule that probably should be looked at in addition to other rules, which we'll
Well,
get to in
we'll
this
get
game.
there in about 30 seconds, Joe. Believe me. Now, for our viewers, we got to ask, Joe, what do you think Tom Brady's doing? Does he got another year in him? What do you think about Tom Brady?
I can't imagine that he's gonna want to go out like this.
Right.
Is my thing. I feel like he should have. That's why I said he should have retired after last season because
Well, that's
what
why I
more
predicted
can
them
you
to go
do?
undefeated and win the Super Bowl. I was like, they're going to try to do it and do it, and then he'll be like, bye. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think he's gonna come back most likely. I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't because I mean he obviously can still play at a high
Yeah.
level and you know they'll still have a lot of these same pieces in Tampa Bay. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean he could go to another team if he really wanted to. If he really was like, you know what, let me go to Denver, and
I
just
think I think
sorry,
he's
Rodgers.
done with the cold. I think
Yeah,
he's staying down south for sure. Yeah, I mean it would be tough to see him go out like this, but on the flip side, especially if Brian Leftwich goes to Jacksonville, which seems likely, good for him, of
right.
course, new offensive coordinator, you know, and I know he is super, young and very fit and athletic. I mean, he's 44. But in that first half, we were kind of like, Tom Brady's getting a little bit old, like kind of showing that. So, I mean, we'll see. I think he'll stay, but you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if he was like, you know what? We really tried to do it this year
Right.
and go back to back. We couldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. But enough of that, Joe. We got plenty of the offseason to talk about. Game of the year. Without a doubt, this was game of the year, Joe.
Yeah.
Bills, Chiefs win 42-36 in overtime. This game was 26-21 Chiefs with about 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Bills touchdown, take the lead. Chiefs touchdown, take the lead. Bills touchdown again, take the lead. 13 seconds to go. Chiefs, 2 plays, boop, 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 down the middle of the field. They had some timeouts. They were able to use the middle of the field, and we'll get into that. They kick the tying field goal. They win the coin toss in overtime, march down the field, much like how the Bills probably would have, if they won the coin toss. And they ended up winning the game. Now, Joe, overtime. Like, what do you think? Like, if you had to choose, what if they called you, if the NFL said JoeyD, which they probably will because they watch us,
Of course.
you're in charge of overtime. What are you doing?
I think that it should be 15 minutes long,
Okay.
and I think it should be 15 minutes long, and we just play a quarter,
So
and
you're like
that's it.
similar like basketball, baseball. You just
Yeah,
play. Okay.
yeah. So that way, I mean, because I don't like how if it's 10 minutes and the first team to score a touchdown, can go down and win like that, or if all they need is to just bleed out block and then give them like a minute left after they kick the field goal to go down and match their field goal or score a touchdown. I don't think that's I don't think it's right that it should be an advantage like that where just whoever wins the coin toss gets the win. But I mean, if you get the coin toss first in overtime in 15 minutes and you're not even if you score a touchdown, the other team should still get a chance to get the ball. And, we just go until the end of the quarter. And, that way offense, defense, special teams is involved. I love the college overtime,
Yeah.
but I think that just discourages special teams. And I think that's, we saw in the 49ers and Packers game how important of an aspect that is. And I mean, really all of these games with, the field goals and missed field goals and, everything that kind of came down to, I just don't want to eliminate that. But yeah, I think that 15 minutes extra quarter, both teams should be able to get the ball and whoever is winning at the end of the quarter wins the game. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like, that team because even if, I go down and I score a touchdown, the other team gets the ball, I go 3-and-out and punt it. Like it shouldn't just end like, because I couldn't score, your defense might be able to make a play like the Niners, like the Bucks were doing in that game to come back. So you just never know. And I think it just gives too much power to the offense. And again, the team that wins the coin toss first. But also, hot take, I don't think that this game is a great example of why the overtime
Yeah.
rules should be changed. I understand. I mean, both these offenses were scoring at will, but at some point, a defense has to make a fucking play. And there were 13 seconds left
Yeah.
in that game, Tim. You're up by 3 points. There is no reason why it should be why the Chiefs can do what they did in less time than it took for the Cowboys to run that draw and get that playoff. I mean, absolutely hilarious, by the way, that Chiefs were able to go 2 plays, 48 yards, and kick a game tying field goal for overtime while in 13 seconds, while with 14 seconds, the Cowboys can't execute a draw and spike. But, that's neither here nor there. Just a hilarious little
Yeah.
little tidbit.
And
So
I'm with you a little bit. I mean, I hate, after that game where so many people were like, oh, just stop them, play defense. No defense was stopping anything in those last 5 minutes. And if the Bills won the toss, I I think they march down and score a touchdown.
Yeah,
And
probably.
now, again, if this game was 9-6 and it was the Jets and Jags, I'd be like, thank fucking God somebody scored. Like, so it goes both ways. Like, I understand, like, yes, the defense does need to make a stop, but I'm kind of with you. If a team, just play 10 or 15 minutes, whatever they decide, and just play it out. If one team goes down and scores a touchdown in 8.5 minutes, tough shit. You only have a minute and a half to tie it. Like, sorry, your defense gave up an 8-minute drive or, 7 minutes, 6 minute. So I agree. It should be
Right.
that. Another idea that I had was if the first team goes down and scores a touchdown, other team gets 4 plays. If you make it to the 50, you get another 4 plays, because that still kind of gives that advantage. But like either way, it still can't come down to a coin toss. And
Right.
and we've been talking about this last few years. I mean, the Chiefs Patriots a couple of years ago in the AFC Championship game was the same way. I mean, hell, the 28-3 Super Bowl was kind of the same way. But at that point, we were all just like, it's the Falcons, it's Atlanta, whatever. It's Tom
That's what they
Brady.
get.
Right,
They
right.
allowed a 28-3 comeback.
But aside from Falcons fans, nobody were like, what do you mean Matt Ryan, the MVP, didn't get the ball back? Like, so it kind of goes hand in hand. I agree with you. It's not the best example, but also like everybody in America would have loved to see like a 63-58, just bang, 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 bang. Gabriel
Right.
Davis having like 15 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
And,
It would have been really cool to see like the college overtime from
yeah.
this game for sure.
And you know what? Poor Gabriel Davis, 8 catches, 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Like, we're not really talking about that. Unbelievable. But Joe, yeah, it comes down to, and this has been the theme this year for a lot of teams, is how do you let your defense do this? And, I've seen this with the Ravens defense this year. We saw it with Tampa Bay's defense. And, we've seen it with defenses the last month or so. It's like, how do you just let this to happen? Like,
I don't understand why these D coordinators overthink it.
yeah,
Like the with the Bucks, they got way too aggressive. They sent an all-out blitz. Why would you do that? There's no
right.
need to do that. With the Bills, they just got way too passive. They play like man up 3 deep. Everyone's back far. You allowed the middle of the field to be wide open.
And they
they
had
three
timeouts too. They had
They had
timeouts, yeah.
timeouts. They had all of them.
But also, Joe, I would have squibbed the
Defense,
kick. I would have squibbed the kick.
yes, absolutely.
I mean,
Just
that
try
takes
to
up at
get
least an
some
extra
time off.
3, maybe 4 seconds.
Whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I mean, but again, like, just play your defense, dude. Like, let's stop getting cute. Play a regular defense so they can't get into field goal range. Like, look, it's one thing if they have to get a touchdown there. Like, then
Yeah. Yeah.
sure, play passive. Like, that's fine. They have 13 seconds. They have to go the length of the field and get a touchdown. Like, that's one thing. But for you to allow this when all they need is a field goal, you're just going to let them. Like, I've seen this so much with the Eagles defense on 3rd and long, just super passive. They're able to get the ball in space and get a first down, just way too passive. And it makes no sense to me. Like, if what's worked on 1st and 2nd down has worked for you, let's not change it up just because it's 3rd and long and, just try to keep everything in front of us. Let's keep doing what's working. And I get it. Not much has been working for the Bills
Yeah.
defense. It's Patrick Mahomes, but still, like, you have to challenge them. I mean, just don't let Tyreek Hill or Travis
Yeah.
Kelce beat you. Like,
Yeah.
and I get it. No
and I
Tyrann
remember
Matthew as well.
I remember
really
bringing this up about a month ago. The Eagles Super Bowl defense with Jim Schwartz. I remember a couple of times in the playoffs, the other team had, 4th and 15, 4th and 18, 4th and 20. And the Eagles just put like 4 guys right across the first down line and was like, no, nobody gets past you. It's like, it's just so simple.
That 6 defense.
Right. And so, you know what, the Bills had a little miscue and all that stuff. But, aside from that, and I think that's a big theme from this game is that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about how great of a performance Josh Allen, kind of like you said with Joe Burrow, just a gutsy performance. I mean, both him and Mahomes were making plays with their legs, giving the receivers an extra second or two to get open. Gabriel Davis with one of the best routes I've ever seen. Just
God,
guy to flop. Like, it looked like he slapped him. Like,
oh my God, I couldn't believe that route.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, also credit to the Chiefs defense a little bit. I mean, losing Tyrann Matthew early in the game, still, doing just enough to still put their team in a position to win. Obviously, huge injury. We'll have to keep that in touch. But yeah, the Chiefs were being a little bit banged up, and the Bills took advantage of that. And likewise, at the end of the day, like we said, it's Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes at home. I think the Bills might have been the more talented team this year, the better team, as we predicted. But it's hard to go in somewhere twice and win a game.
Yeah, and I said that I thought that if both teams played at their best possible level and played their like the highest game possible, that the Bills would
Yeah.
win. I was wrong. Chiefs. This is their best game of the entire season, and they did it. I mean, the Bills' best game of the entire season was against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Clearly, um, Chiefs saved their best for this week, and it got them the win. So, I love to see it since finally I have a little bit of revenge on the Bills. Somewhat because they screwed me, and I'll never forgive them. But we'll see if I let this vendetta go next season, Tim.
Absolutely. Well, hey, you know what? That's all the games. We only got three more football games left, three and a half if you want to count the Pro Bowl. We'll count that as half a game. But Joey D, any final words from this just amazing divisional weekend?
It just kind of emphasizes again like how much importance the quarterback position is in the NFL. And if you don't have the guy, you're probably not going to make it very far. And the games by Joe Burrow, Mahomes, and Josh
Mhm.
Allen, Matt Stafford. I mean, if you're a top five, top 10 quarterback, your team is gonna be making some noise. And
Yeah.
hopefully the Eagles are able to, get there. Um, you know, I think it's still to be determined with the Ravens as well with Lamar, simply because like I think this year's another really good example of, the lack of mobile or predominantly mobile quarterbacks, in the postseason and being able to hold up. So, I think it does raise some concerns there for sure. And, I know I have concerns about Jalen Hurts and, God, Joe Burrow, man, like, that's it's just what you want in a franchise quarterback. And, just makes me dream of a better times, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. And only time will tell. But we got a couple of games to pick. So let's wrap this up. That'll do it for this episode of the Flea Flicker Gang. Once again, happy birthday to you, Joey D. Happy birthday to me as well. Thank you guys all
Thanks,
so
Tim.
much in the comments for wishing us happy birthday. And be back here on Saturday where we will make our picks for the conference championship games. We got two games on Sunday. Uh, a divisional matchup for a third time, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's Joey D over there, and I'm Timmy B. We'll see you soon. Peace.